find them on my bracket here, but yeah, I had them winning that round for
sure.
Yeah,
it would be Gonzaga. You're right. That would have been Gonzaga in the Elite Eight. Yeah, because I think you did. You had them beating Iowa in the Sweet 16, and then boy, were we all wrong about that. Because now we got a Pac-12 matchup in that place.
Maybe Bill Walton call the game.
Yeah. I like Bill Walton's quote about how there's going to be 5 SEC teams in the Final Four. Funny guy, goofy guy, little obnoxious, but it's all right. He means well. But okay, so
back to Q's in March, though it's a different animal.
And the
winner, I wouldn't be surprised to go to the Final Four.
The winner of that Q's Houston game will get Loyola-Chicago or Oregon State, 2 teams that we all had in the summer. Yeah, it's incredible. I personally think that Loyola-Chicago just absolutely blows the doors off Oregon State. But then again, I mean, Oregon State's gotten this far, so I wouldn't put it past Oregon State to make it a game. I mean, Oregon State the other night against Cade Cunningham and the Oklahoma State Cowboys, they just grabbed the lead, and it got close to start the second half, and they just never let go. I mean, they got up, and I kept expecting they'll get. But we talked about the other day, this is a team that's hot at the right time. They won their tournament. Now they won 2 games. They got up, and I was like, oh, this screams Oklahoma State crawling back into it the whole way, and they just never did. Oregon State just took the lead and just held them off the rest of the game and played an absolutely brilliant game. But like I said, I personally think they get blown up by Loyola-Chicago. But I also have 3 of my 4 Final Four teams at home, as I said, so take that for what it's worth. I'm clearly not an expert at this stuff. So, what did you just say?
Producer Sites. Come on, man.
Producer Sites has a pool, and I'm in first place, so believe that or not. That's all that matters. He's got to stop talking. I can't focus.
Yeah, I know. A producer's not supposed to interrupt this show. He keeps interrupting the show.
We'll interrupt this show later. Oh, Eagles and Joe Flacco, if that concerns anyone. But yeah, I think Loyola-Chicago moves on, and I don't know. Should we predict these games now? What are you doing? Should we predict these games now? Little Bott's here, and then we'll go over it again with Chrissy on Thursday.
Yeah.
Okay, so little Elite Eight here. Let's start. Or not Elite Eight, not quite. We're gonna get to the Elite Eight. Sorry about that.
Okay, Matthew.
Website crashed, man.
Let me just talk for a minute here.
Yeah, you go ahead. All right, I'm good. I'm good when you are.
I'll talk about Saturday's game real quick. The Bonnies just
they got blown out
by LSU.
Some in here saw it coming, some didn't.
You did.
No one could have predicted that. 4-4, 8 minutes into the game, and just Kyle Lofton shooting 3 of 18. No one saw that coming, and it just makes you think like the game was. What was it? 12 points and it lose by 15.
Yeah, 76-61.
So 15 when Kyle Lofton shoots 3 of 18. Could have been a lot worse. It just makes you think like, what if Lofton's on? Dom didn't have to lead early.
Yeah.
How much of closer could have been? But I mean, you could say that about absolutely any
game.
8 minutes. Yeah, unbelievable. I'd say good defense, but it was more just poor shot. There were good contested shots, but a lot of just missed open shots too. It was a very slow start.
The first 8 minutes. I thought LSU were taking the contested shots, and it wasn't their best offense. But Bonnie's had decent looks, and they just weren't falling. So the first 8 minutes, they had a chance to be up like 8 or 10 and really set the tone. But they didn't.
I think if Bonnie started that game,
and LSU struggled like they did, we would have had like Oregon State against Oklahoma State kind of situation. Bonnie's could have taken advantage of that first 8 minutes.
Yeah.
All they had to do is play even the rest of the game, not give up a huge run, and that's pretty much what they did. And then they just kind of
the second half it was pretty much even.
Yeah,
it was
just that final stretch of the first half. They just never, they get it within 8, then they go back to 11, and then they hit another big shot, and then they give up 2, and it just they couldn't crawl, and they were trading a bad time.
Rebounding was terrible.
So for Bonnie's, their loss really comes down to that start. It really showed. I mean, obviously the beginning of any game is important, but that game just amplifies it. How a hot start would have really helped them. But
hey, I mean, they are bringing everyone back.
Yeah, everyone's coming back, and I think this guy's name's something like that. Who's the kid from Robert Morris that might transfer? Bombo? No, not Bombo. Slice knows his name. Slice, yell it.
I know.
Oh, he doesn't know it. Hold on, I gotta look it up. Well, okay, so this guy from Robert Morris averages 21 and 10. His final 4. He's a grad senior. His final 4 are, I believe, Arizona State, Nevada, Bonaventure, and there's a 4th. And anyway, he's a 4 who could play alongside Shun. You can move that away to the 3. Holmes come off the bench, something like that kind of thing, or just bring this guy off the bench. But I think he's like 24, going to be 24 years old. He's a grad.
We need bigs.
Oh, shoot.
So, I mean, that's our biggest weakness is if we can get a big to play alongside the team.
Yeah, I was looking up yesterday. He averaged, I think, 22 and 10 this year at Robert Morris. His name is AJ Brahma, not Bamba.
Oh.
AJ Brahma. It's Nevada, St. Bonaventure, Arizona State, and Western Kentucky are his top 4. He's committing on Friday, March 26th, which is this Friday. So I guess we'll see. That would be big. But, yeah, I think he's like 6'8", I think I saw. Plays the 4.
Love it.
And like I said, averaged 21 and 10. So get him a couple. I assume we get a couple transfers they do every year. And now, obviously, with the immediate eligibility, that's big. Everyone from the starting lineup comes back. Assume AJ Vasquez comes back from the bench. I have no reason to believe otherwise. And I mean, I don't know. Yeah. Decent freshman class, and like you said, everyone's back. It's one of those losses that hurts. Obviously, players cry and whatever, but at least at the end of the day, they're not like the other teams when they can say, we're losing so-and-so. They're not. Like, yeah, it stinks, but they know they're going to be back. And they can be back for a year after that with their extra COVID year. So, I mean, next year might not even have to be the end either. But, yeah, I mean, I think that loss will help them in the long run. And this kind of positions us for our next question. Do I think that they win a game next year? Yeah, I think they want a decent little run next year. Like, there's no reason why these guys playing together as long as they can't do what Loyola-Chicago's doing right now. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Sure.
That's why Oral Roberts is so good. I mean, you got guys that they have a starting lineup of, I think they got 3 or 4 seniors in that lineup. They've been playing together a long time. I mean, you don't get those small schools to make a little bit of a run with guys that just met each other. You know what I mean? Obviously, the longer you play with the next year will be their 4th year, and that's what the tournament really comes down to. Last couple of years, Duke's had the team of all freshmen. How's that really worked out? That rarely ever works out. It always comes down to the teams that – I mean, Gonzaga, yeah, they have Jalen Suggs, but they also have guys that have been there for 4 years, and that's why these teams are so good. So I think that's key. And like I said, I think Saturday's loss only helps them for the future. But
do it.
Saturday, we go Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday this week. So Saturday and Sunday will be the Sweet 16, Monday, Tuesday, the Elite 8. Oregon State against Loyola-Chicago was the first game. I already gave my say. I think you kind of did too.
Yeah.
I think Loyola-Chicago moves on. Justin, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, Oregon State has been really good upsetting these teams, but I'll have to go with Loyola-Chicago. I think they're a really good team.
Next game, 5:15, Villanova is the 5. Will take on Baylor. Again, I personally think Baylor's obviously much better, but I did not think Villanova would be here, but they are. So I'm not going to automatically write them off. I think this game will be a lot better of a game than some people are anticipating because, like I said, a lot of us wrote Villanova off even in the first round to Winthrop. A lot of people at Winthrop winning that game, and no one thought Villanova would be here. So I'm not going to say Baylor's going to blow them out because they are here. I think it's going to be a lot closer than people think, but I would be shocked if they do beat Baylor. So I'm going to go with Baylor to get to the Elite 8. And they'd take on, I think, the winner of Oral Roberts, Arkansas, right? I believe, because, that was they'd be playing Ohio State, and boy, did they get bounced, as we were talking about. So what do you guys think, Baylor?
Yeah, I like Baylor in that one as well.
Yeah, Baylor, but as you said, Matt, it's going to be a lot closer than people think. Nova's going to battle to the end.
Win 2 national championships. Okay, then we got the next game that we'll play Baylor in our eyes. Oral Roberts, the 15, as we've talked, against Arkansas, who's impressively got here. Thrilling end to that game against Texas Tech on Sunday. I mean, this game, I just have no idea what to say because it's like, how do you pick against Oral Roberts after they've beaten the teams? They've pretty much beaten Ohio State. Like, that was such a big win for me because, like, I think we all had Ohio State in our Final Four in here. I know me and Ryan did. So, I mean, to me, if you beat them, you might as well go beat Florida, which they did. You might as well go beat Arkansas, which I don't know if they will. I'm going to say they won't, but like I said, if they win again, I won't be shocked. So I'm going to go with Arkansas, though. It's got to end at some point, right?
Yeah, I would think the magic carpet ride unfortunately ends here. But then again, I thought it was over Sunday night when they were down 10 in the second half and they battled back and they won. So, I mean, I'm not going to rule it out, but I would think Arkansas is going to move on.
As someone who had Arkansas on their Final Four, I'm going to have to root for them as well.
Well, at least you still got someone alive. That's not Gonzaga, so kudos to you. And then Syracuse-Houston winner will take on Loyola-Chicago or Oregon State. I have no reason to bet against Cuse. Houston's really, really good, though. But I think this will also be a fantastic game. But if Buddy Boeheim scores, I'll say if he scores at least 23 points, Syracuse will win. I was really impressed with the way Syracuse played against West Virginia because Buddy Boeheim was not on in the first half, and Quincy Guerrier, Joe Girard, Those guys stepped up when they had to, and then obviously
He's been
Buddy.
stepping up this tournament.
Yeah. Well, when he hit that 3 from 8 feet from behind the line, I didn't know what was going on. I thought we were in a simulation. Well, we might be in a simulation. No one has any proof of that. But I thought life was fake for a second because that was just absolutely – he was the last guy I expected to hit that shot because I watched a lot of Cuse games this year, and the kid's good, but okay, he's not good. He hasn't been good this year. So I did not see that coming. And if they can step up when Buddy's cold, because we knew he wasn't going to play again, like he was dead on against in the whole ACC tournament and then against San Diego State the whole game. You knew there'd come a time where he wouldn't be. He made his first shot the other night, then kind of went cold. But like I said, Quincy Guerrier, who was the third team All ACC for that team, only member of Cuse on the team. In the regular season, Quincy Guerrier was their best player. He stepped up when he had to in the first half. George Herrera did, and then Buddy came to life down the stretch when they needed him to. So that was big. So that was just a takeaway I had from their game in the round of 32 is the other guys stepped up when they had to. And then obviously the zone was still on early. West Virginia got off to a slow start, and Cuse was able to really take advantage there. And by the time West Virginia did start to crawl back, it was just too late because, like I said, Buddy came alive in the end. But I'd say if Buddy scores at least 23 points, I'll put 23 as my magic number. I guess I'll say 25 because that's more even. When he scores 25 points and Guerrier plays like he can, and if Gerard's playing like this, and eventually Alan Griffin gets going because we know he will, I just think Cuse is a tough out. And like I said, Houston's a little banged up. A lot of injuries towards the end of that game. Specifically, Giroux. See the guy, Giroux? Is that his name? The guy who hurt his hip. Yes. And then Quentin Grimes obviously took the bruise to the elbow, a shooting elbow. I know it didn't stop him from making that clutch 3 late in the game, but he's Houston's best player. And if he's banged up, so I'm going to go Cuse against Loyola-Chicago in an Elite Eight game that absolutely none of us saw coming.
I'll go with the same thing. I really like Cuse, and Houston's got a great defense, but 2-3 zone, I don't know who can beat it. Got to go with Cuse in this one.
Yeah, I really like Cuse right now.
It's
Cuse and
they're just way too tough to pick against. Okay, so
Creighton and the Zags.
Yeah, we're going to day 2 here. Creighton against the Zags, like you said. Creighton here for the first time ever. See ya though, Gonzaga. In a boat race to me. That's just what Gonzaga does to everyone. No offense to Creighton, but
it's going to be a lot closer than you think. Creighton's going to. I think Creighton's going to be up with a few minutes left, but the Zags are going to battle back like they have a few times this season when they've been in a close game, and they're going to find a way to pull it out. But I don't know. Maybe now's the time to sleep on Creighton because I'm saying don't sleep on them after I've been sleeping on them. But I feel like they're going to give the Zags a close game, and I don't think they're going to win, but I think they're going to play a lot better than people.
Justin?
Yeah, I think it'll probably be close as well. But again, I'll take the Zags.
All right, so we'll go Florida State, Michigan. This is a game I actually had predicted right on my bracket, so I did something right. I think I had Florida State winning.
Yeah.
But I'm going to change my tune.
I feel the same way.
I like Michigan now. I really do. And I don't like Michigan in their next game, which we'll get to. But for right now, Michigan right now. I think they get to the Elite Eight when I struggled to picture them past the Sweet 16, like I said, missing Isaiah Livers. But where are they here? And I think they give Florida State a game. ACC wasn't pretty strong this year. It was the Big Ten as we visited, but I do think Michigan's a better team than Florida State. And yeah, I'm going to go with the Michigan Wolverines to advance the Elite Eight.
Yeah, I feel the same way as you. I had the same, I had Florida State as well, but I watched Michigan last night, and they played like a 1 seed. I took them a while, and they were playing a tough team in LSU. That's another Power 5 school. But once they got it going late, the threes were falling, the defense was there, and most importantly, their bigs started playing physical. And when Michigan plays like that, I don't care if Livers is out or not, they're going to beat you more times than they won't. And I feel like Florida State's not going to be able to match the physicality of the Wolverines, and they will be moving on to the Elite Eight, where they will be going home against someone I'll talk about later.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you guys just because we've all been agreeing on the same thing, and I really do like Florida State. I think this one will be closer than people expect. We've been saying this about every game we've been picking, but yeah, I think it's gonna be a close one. And I saw Florida State actually got out-rebounded the last game, but they shot so well that they just blew Colorado out. I mean, they won by 18 points. So even getting out-rebounded, they played well. And if they can –
which is very hard to do. Get out-rebounded like that and win the game.
Yeah, they got out-rebounded by 8 and out-rebounded on the offensive glass by 10. So they really shot well. So hopefully the Florida State defense can clamp up on Michigan like they did to Colorado. We'll see how that one works out, and I'll go with the Seminoles on this one.
Okay, so then they'll take on the winner of UCLA at Alabama. Not Alabama, excuse me. UCLA 11 seeded, second seeded Alabama. I think this game screams Alabama, and I do think Alabama goes to the Final Four and defeats Michigan, like me and Ryan have been alluding to. I think Alabama's a very good team. That's not going out on a limb by any means in saying that. Should be a good game, I think. UCLA has obviously played very well, and they had to win the playing game against Michigan State. Not only did they have to win that, they had to overcome a 12-point deficit at halftime just to be here, and they've won 2 games since then, clearly, beating BYU. And then who did they beat last night?
Oregon?
No, UCLA.
They steamrolled Abilene Christian.
Oh, that's right. So maybe not the most impressive path to get to this point, but they're here nonetheless, but I think it ends here against Alabama.
Yeah, I'll have to agree with you there.
And then this is probably my favorite game of the weekend, not only because it's a Pac-12 matchup. The last game of the weekend, I don't know. I guess it is because they're two really familiar opponents playing at the biggest stage they possibly could right now. Not that they possibly could, but a pretty big stage. A little more incentive to the rivalry here, so I'm really excited to watch this. It's always cool to see, conference foes match up in the tournament. Like they try to, avoid it as much as they can, but obviously when you have so many teams from the same conferences, you can't avoid it altogether. And we get one here in the Sweet 16. Let's go to the Elite Eight. I really don't know. I think I'm going to go with Oregon just because I'm so impressed with the way that they shot the ball and scored points yesterday against Iowa. But, I mean, boy, did USC play fantastic too and blow Kansas out. So, I don't know. I'm going to give Oregon the slight edge.
I love the way USC is playing right now. I think that Bowman's going to take them to the Elite Eight.
He could be the difference in this game too. I mean, he is the NBA prospect on this team. And that's where these guys kind of show out, and that's kind of what I expected Cade Cunningham to do in the second half against Oregon State, and he didn't. But having one of the top 5 NBA prospects on your roster in a game like this can really help. I know I just picked Oregon, and I'm saying this, so I'm going to stick with Oregon. I'm going to slow down, but I'm just saying that could be the difference.
Yeah, it definitely could be a difference, but I'm also going to go with Matt here. I'm going to pick Oregon. Look at their stats, and they shot really well against. And again, we talked about the fact that they didn't get to play their first game against VCU because of COVID. But I feel like that will make people doubt them a little, have a little chip on their shoulder in this game. And a guy like Chris Duarte is really good. I think he's a pretty underrated player, and I think he'll help the Ducks to win this one.
Well, I guess we'll revisit that Thursday with Chris and see if our minds change at all. So we're going to take our first break here. Wow. Chunky talk there about college basketball.
March Madness, man.
Love it. When we get back, though, other sports have been going on, believe it or not. I personally haven't been watching anything but college basketball, but other things have been going on, like NFL free agency.
And once you spend the money.
Yeah, I was going to say, one team in particular is really trying to improve themselves. So when we get back, we'll talk about the signing that the New York Giants have made and other signings around the league when we get back, as well as some NBA trade deadline news. Certain player requesting a trade that should be moved by Thursday, that being Aaron Gordon. So we'll talk about landing spots for him. When we get back, you're listening to the MJM Grand Talk Show on WSBU The Buzz. We'll be right back. And we're back. Me, my friend Justin, and Ryan. How you guys doing after that break? Fine, Sites. Shut up.
Producer Sites. Hi, Sites.
Okay, so Giants. Let's go Bucks. Okay, we're talking about football. Not. Do you mean Pirates Bucks, or is he talking about like Buccaneers Bucks? Pirates Bucks. That's what I thought. Yeah, the World Series this year. There'll be a World Series, but they won't be in it. 30-21, maybe. All right, so the Giants signed Kenny Golladay, to play a wide receiver. Kyle Rudolph to be a second tight end. Devontae Booker to be the backup running back to Saquon Barkley. And then they added Adoree Jackson to be their CB2. That was last night. I feel like they've made more signings. They re-signed Leonard Williams. Always good to have a big fat guy in the I'm not wrong. You guys laugh, but it's true.
It's true.
Lost Dalvin Tomlinson. Speaking of big guys in the middle, they lost him. That's okay. But they made moves. They have a good offense, except for one position that really matters. But speaking of Daniel Jones, I'm not going to blame him too much because now he finally has a number one receiver. Hopefully his running back Saquon Barkley stays healthy. The offensive line is improved. Andrew Thomas will be in his second year. Will Hernandez, the guard, will be in his third year, I believe. So their young pieces are really coming together on that line. Could this be what Daniel Jones needed? Is his offense finally set for him to succeed? Is he now in the best position to succeed? Like, to me, this is his last chance. It's year 3, which typically is a last chance for a lot of quarterbacks. For getting paid wise, I'm not saying last chance to have a job in the NFL, but if you want to earn yourself a contract, year 3 is a big one. We saw it with Josh Allen this year in particular, because in his first 2 years, yes, he made small strides, and so is Daniel Jones. But obviously in that third year, Josh Allen completely took off. I'm not saying Daniel Jones needs to be an MVP candidate, but he needs to show the Giants that he is capable of being their quarterback. Does he finally have the weapons to do that?
I believe he does, but I don't know if he'll get it done. But, you never like to doubt people because, what Josh Allen was before this year and what he did this year became a
two totally different people for sure.
MVP caliber quarterback, at least through a large part of the season. He obviously didn't win it, but he put up a hell of a season. I apologize for saying HE double hockey sticks. So, but Daniel Jones 11 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, and the fumble issues. Yeah, that is in the past, but. I don't know. Kenny Golladay, I'm a huge fan of, but I just don't know. I'd rather have Mitch Trubisky at this point than have Daniel Jones as my starter.
Wow. Boy, that just took me a minute. Okay. I can kind of get down with that, but sorry for another day. Ryan?
He does have the weapons, and I think he's going to play decent, but I don't know if decent's going to cut it for the Giants because these moves are, all right, it's win now. Like Daniel Jones, got your weapons now. Go prove that you are the guy. And I'm not saying that they don't think he is the guy, but now they gave him his weapons, and there's really no excuses now, and he has to put up a good season. And I don't know if a little above average is going to cut it because I feel like that's what it's going to be. I could be wrong. But I don't know. I don't feel like he's that great of a quarterback, and he could prove me wrong, like I said. And honestly, I'm wrong more times than I'm right, it seems like. So he probably will. But he definitely needs to step up and be the guy this year because they have enough pieces, and their defense got better too with the signing of Adoree Jackson. So, and their defense was what carried them last year. So now, I'm expecting the Giants to win 9 games, possibly the division, and it starts with the quarterback Daniel Jones, and he needs to be able to win those games, and that's going to be the biggest question. I don't know. He's going to win some games that he shouldn't, but also I feel like he's going to lose a couple bad games, but I guess that's the NFL. That happens. But I feel like with the Giants, there's less room for error than there is a team like the Bills. And I just don't think
they do have to play pretty flawless if you think about it. I don't know. I think this is still a division that's up for grabs. I do think Dallas will obviously be better, assuming that Dak Prescott's healthy, because him being healthy helps them in more ways than just quarterback, like we saw with Ezekiel at the running back position when Andy Dalton was at quarterback. Teams were stacking the box against him, and he just did not have a good year at all. So having Dak healthy helps them in that regard as well. But even when Dak was healthy, their defense was so bad that it didn't matter. So I wouldn't expect that. I could see 10-6 maybe at best, but I don't think the Cowboys are much better than that. I think the Giants can contend for this division, but then again, you still have the football team who, like we've said with Ryan Fitzpatrick, we don't really know what you're going to get. Played well this last season until he was benched for Tua. I think they're in good hands with him this year, I want to presume, and that defense that's really good. But I think the Giants are the second best team in that division right now, or have potential to be with the weapons they have. But that's me assuming that Daniel Jones takes at least a medium-sized step forward. And I don't know if he will do that, and it's tough to tell. Those things are hard to predict. Like we said, no one predicted Josh Allen would do what he did this past year, and I don't think Daniel Jones has to do that at all. I'm not saying that the Giants have to go 13-3 like the Bills did and secure the second seed in their conference. They'll be completely fine just, being a wild card and making the playoffs with a 9-7 record. But I think this division's up for grabs still. Like I said, Dallas will be better, but I don't think the Giants are that far behind them, because I think the Giants have a much better defense than the Cowboys. Cowboys offense probably, a little bit better because their quarterback position is a lot better. And they still have, a good running back and decent receivers. But now the Giants have that too. It really just falls on the shoulders of Daniel Jones. And I wouldn't be shocked if they won the division, but like I said, it all comes down to him. And without knowing how he's going to perform, I don't know. But adding someone like Kenny Golladay, if he stays healthy, which is something a lot of people aren't talking about. Like, yeah, they landed the big receiver for $18 million a year. He's had trouble staying on the field last year in particular, but even years before that. He gets banged up a lot. He's a big physical receiver, and that's never an easy role to play. You get banged up, and that's where the physical comes in. You know what I mean? So he's got to stay healthy. Saquon has to bounce back from a major knee injury as well. Sterling Shepard, they're number 2 or 3, however you want to rank him, and Darius Slayton, he has to stay healthy as well. He gets hurt all the time as well. But I do like adding Kyle Rudolph to be a secondary tight end to Evan Ingram. Evan Ingram has to catch the ball. There's a lot of things that have to, you said, not that there's going to be a lot of errors, and they're not like a team like the Bills Chiefs where they have to make those errors. They don't have the talent to make up for it, I don't think, necessarily. So, like, the Evan Ingram drops towards the end of the game, like that one game that he cost him, that can happen.
I don't know if you just heard the news about Kyle Rudolph here.
What?
Mike Garofalo tweeted at 6:10, so about half an hour ago, there's a snag in the Giants' addition of tight end Kyle Rudolph. Sources say the team's medical staff is concerned with Rudolph's foot after his physical and believes he'll need surgery. The sides are discussing how to proceed. The 2-year deal was agreed to, but not yet signed.
Well, Evan Ingram has to step up. That brings you back to that. But, wow, poor Rudy there. Hopefully all goes well, because I actually like that fit a lot. I liked him as a kind of take some pressure off the young tight end Ingram, because we saw he's got a little bit of butterfingers there last year on more than one occasion. And I thought that was a good signing for a good two tight end set, because Rudolph is one heck of a blocker too, one of the best blocking tight ends in the league. And he's a veteran guy that's just good to bring to a young team like that. Helps out a young quarterback a lot. So that would really stink if that doesn't go through. I'm sure, I don't know, maybe they can, restructure, or not even restructure because it's not finalized, like you said, refigure out something else, because he's probably not going to get the money he did. Didn't he get 2 years, 24? Yep. Which I thought was a lot. I thought 12 was a lot for a guy like him, because he's on the older side. But yeah, hopefully they figure that out, because he's a guy that I think is vital to their what could be success this upcoming season. But nonetheless, I think they compete for that division if Daniel Jones just takes a medium-sized step forward. Anyone? Hello?
Oh, sorry. I already had my take on Daniel Jones.
Well, we're talking about the division. Can they win it?
I really like Washington. I love Fitz. But, yeah, they can be the second-best team, as you mentioned. They can be the second-best team, but I don't know how much weight that holds in the NFC East.
You think Ryan Fitzpatrick's better than Dak Prescott?
I don't, but I think the Cowboys' defense is atrocious.
Yeah, but Quinn, he's a good coordinator, eh?
Yes, sir.
He is.
I mean, he is. But he's
running his boy Keanu Neal, who used to play from Atlanta. He's going to play linebacker for them. That's a big need. Put him at weak side linebacker with Leighton Van Der Esch and Jalen Smith there. I mean, kind of like a hybrid type player. I think their defense will be improved in Dallas. I'm not going to say Washington's defense is just really good, but Obviously, we talked about Curtis Samuel. There's weapons there now, but I think it's Dallas's to lose. But I feel like that's something we say every year. So it's just when are they going to finally put it off? Ryan, you think Giants will be hosting a playoff game come January?
I do.
Do?
I think the signs.
Shut up. Corvette, Juju, right? Yeah.
I should also think Sykes for Steven Jackson.
Yeah, that was Steven Nelson. That was interesting. So yeah.
Thinking basketball for a minute, but yeah, Steven Nelson.
I thought we were talking about the running back.
But yes, I think the Giants are. I think this weekend's moves put them over the top. Washington's going to be competitive. I feel like Dallas should be, but then again, as you said, it's Dallas. Who knows? But yeah, I think the Giants are going to find a way to get it done at 10-6.
Is Philly the worst team in that division?
Yes.
Yeah.
They'll win 3 games. Okay, maybe 5. Well, which is still 3, so I still wasn't wrong. They will win at least 4. 4 will be in the middle. But yeah, I think Philly's going to get beat up on a lot in that division. When are they going to trade Ertz? Are they going to trade Ertz? It's not going to be Buffalo anymore. With Jacob Hollister coming in. Woohoo. But I don't know. I think Ertz is going to get bought out before he plays for the Eagles. But they're in cap space hell kind of over there, and I just feel bad for Jalen Hurts. So I think he's decent, but who's the number 1 receiver right now? Travis Fulgham, Greg Ward. We've seen that. We've seen that before. Maybe J.J. Arcega-Whiteside really kind of finally figures it out. Jalen Reagor could be good. I'm not taking anything away from him. He was banged up his rookie year, but they'll be interesting. Okay, so more allegations against Deshaun Watson. I almost said Raptors. What are they called? Houston Texans, not Houston. Rockets. I'm just all over the place. Did the Houston Texans wait too long to trade him, kind of thing? Because now, like I said last show, the goal was to trade him before the draft to get the picks that they needed. But that's obviously pressed a little bit because these allegations, even if they are false, will eventually go away. We see that happen a lot, but they're not going to go away by the draft. So if you're a team, do you still take the risk and trade them? Because I think if we get past the draft and he's still a Texan, he's going to be a Texan next year because then they'll try to trade him before next draft. Or maybe at the deadline or something like that, which is extremely hard to do, trade a quarterback in the middle of a season. That's something you kind of want to get traded maybe before like July so we can get, with these guys, learn the playbook kind of thing, getting there for training camp. So there's not really, when it comes to quarterbacks, there's a small window of opportunity to trade a quarterback to a different team. And usually it's before the draft, but like with allegations like this, until this is all figured out, I don't think you're going to see him moved, and it could all be figured out that it's true, and you might never see him in the NFL again. So, like, I don't know. It's obviously not something you can predict. We see things like this, slow down a lot of careers, like guys like Kareem Hunt, who's obviously back in the NFL now. Josh Gordon with drugs back and trying to be back in the NFL next year. And then guys like Ray Rice who never played again. So, like, when allegations like this come up, incidents like this come up, it's really kind of a touchy subject because you don't really know how they're going to play out. But seems like there's more allegations day in and day out from these women against Deshaun Watson. So I don't know. It's just the time to trade him is not now. And I don't think, like I said, I don't think it's going to get figured out before April 29th when the NFL draft starts, or that number 2 pick from the Jets that they want, or that number 3 pick, or that number 8 from Carolina, those they want. It's going to be it's not going to be time to trade him by then. And like I said, if he's still a Texan on April 30th, the day after the draft starts, he's going to be a Texan on September 8th, or whatever it is when the season starts. Whether he plays or not, I don't know. They paid Tyrod $14 million. You paid him that assuming Deshaun Watson's gone because you don't pay a backup $14 million. Well, some teams do, but not Tyrod Taylor. I do like what they're doing in Houston, though, signing Ingram, Phillip Lindsay to go with David. I mean, they're making moves. They're not going to be good, but they're not going to be good, but I still think they might be better than the Jaguars, which maybe he's not saying a lot. I don't know what Trevor Lawrence will be, but
Goldilocks.
Houston's not in a terrible spot. They're in a far from ideal spot. Don't get me wrong, but I used to think if they trade Watson, I was thinking maybe 1-15, 0-16. Tyrod will win you some games. He'll win you 6 or 7 games. Maybe not with that. He doesn't have the defense he did when he was in Buffalo, but he could win 5 or 6 games, which obviously is still far from ideal. You're still picking top 10 to 12, but gave him that deal assuming Watson's gone. But like I said, only time will tell, really.
Yeah, I feel like the Texans lost all their leverage here. I mean, sure, there's still interested teams, but yeah, like they're not going to give up everything without knowing that these allegations are that nothing's going to happen, because you can't give up your whole future for a guy who may not be able to start for you week one, because then you give up everything and now it's like, oh, well, the guy we have can't play for us, and your backup quarterback's just not going to get it done. So I feel like the Texans really have lost a lot of their leverage here, and it's going to be tough to move him in the next week, or it should be in the next month before the draft, because those allegations aren't going to clear in a week. And yeah, as I said, it looks like the chances just became more likely that Watson will be the starting quarterback for the Texans week one. Whether he plays or not, to be determined, but he will be a Texan, I believe, now by September.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you. And it's the 14. Yeah, the SportsCenter traded 14 lawsuits alleging sexual assault against Watson. So obviously not a very good look. And they're going to have to wait for this to play out, see what happens with these court cases and whatnot, see if he's innocent or guilty. But I really can't see him going anywhere right now because of all the stuff going on legally with him. And, I mean, this is a draft where if a team really wants a quarterback, they can get one.
Yeah, for sure.
Zach Wilson, Justin Fields, I'm talking about Trevor Lawrence, he's going one, but I already named two other guys. Trey Lance, so many guys that you can take in this draft. That
my guy Mac Jones.
Yeah, him too. I mean, it's so many guys that I know Watson is a top 5 quarterback, but at this point, all the baggage that he has, I don't think many teams would take that on.
Guess we'll have to see. We'll see how it plays out. Real quick, no more breaks. We won't take our breaks. Real quick, give me a couple landing spots for Aaron Gordon.
Celtics.
Yeah, I was going to say for me, it comes down to 2 Celtics or Portland Trailblazers. I like a lot.
Okay.
Celtics, I think you play them at the 4. You got Kemba at the 1, Jalen at the 2, Tatum at the 3. Bring Smart in off the bench, kind of figure it out from there. Maybe go small, play Gordon at the 5 because he's an excellent rebounder, and center's kind of a weak position for them. The Celtics, I mean, I don't even think you worry about trading for him, like figuring him into a lineup. You just need talent. You need something because they've just so underachieved this year. I think they're 21-21 right now.
Yeah.
So you're not out of it by no means. 21-22. They lost last night, unfortunately. You just need an
unfortunate for some.
Yeah, you just need talent to be brought in. And like I said, you figure out the lineups later because Aaron Gordon's a good talent. I think that Vucevic should be someone they look at too, because I think they managed to trade both. I think they've just been in this cycle for so long. I just think if you're going to trade one, you might as well just trade both and go all in on next year's draft, because there's a lot of good prospects coming out in this draft. Talking about the NFL draft, and I got the NBA draft with a lot of influx of talent as well. So if I'm the Magic, I'm going all in on the draft, and I would just trade both of these guys. Yeah, if it's not Celtics, I like Trailblazers a lot because they're a team that I think is really good. Obviously, one of the best backcourts in the NBA with Lowe and McCollum, and Melo's been playing pretty decent this season. Having a big down there, someone I would love to see the Trailblazers sign is LaMarcus Aldridge, bring him back to Portland. Obviously, he's not the same player he was when he was there 4 or 5 years ago, but after being bought out by San Antonio, it'd be nice to see him back there. But they need someone on the low block because Jurkic is still hurt, I believe, right?
Yeah, he's out.
Having Aaron Gordon on the low block to pair with that outstanding backcourt would be nice. So that's, for me, it's one of those 2 places.
And Spurs are willing to trade DeMar DeRozan now as well.
I heard some Lonzo talks are heating up, so yeah, a lot could happen in the coming days. Which I think we said last week, we don't expect it to be as busy, but then again, you have teams who, especially guys like in DeMar DeRozan's case, and even though Lonzo's a restricted free agent, I heard a report. If some team's willing to give him more than $18 million, the Pelicans aren't going to match that. Like, in terms of that, yeah, like teams are going to be willing to get assets for those guys where they know that they're going to move on, and like anything will do. So like there could definitely be a few more moves than we anticipated with those 2 on Thursday, whereas last week maybe we didn't really see anything coming.
One bold prediction I want to make for a player to be traded: Pascal Siakam. after what happened yesterday or the other day. He got in a heated discussion with Nick Nurse, and then today he got fined $50,000, and he's just kind of underperformed.
Yeah.
This year, it started last year in the NBA bubble. Raptors are a team that are kind of like stagnant right now. I don't know if Lowry gets traded. Yeah. I'd be a surprise if he got traded, but I wouldn't be completely shocked if he gets traded on Thursday. And there's no it'd be one of those that just kind of comes out of nowhere because it's not like a public thing at all.
Yeah.
But I mean, he got fined. They fined him $50,000. Like that's a big deal. Him and head coach Nick Nurse got into it the other night, and that to me could just be like the last bullet. It's done. But I wouldn't be completely shocked, but it would come to us as a bit of surprise. Again, real quick, do you think that the Sabres, they've lost now 14 in a row? I think it's 14. It's tough to keep track.
14.
Played well, 3 goals, but it's still not good enough. Devin Tokarski played most of the game in that after Carter Hutton left in the first minute 30 maybe with injury. Do you think that they break the NHL longest losing streak of 18 games? I'm just going to say yes because they've given me no reason to think otherwise. So.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you there as well.
I don't care. It doesn't matter.
We're playing
Philly.
Oh, yeah.
Or Pittsburgh first.
Yeah,
Pittsburgh for 2 games. Then Boston.
Wait, so they
then Philly.
played the Rangers for 1? Hey?
Yeah, they only played the Rangers for 1. They played Pittsburgh for 2 starting Wednesday. Then Boston on, I think, Saturday. And then Philly. And then Rangers again.
Linus Ullmark is on this road trip, though, so maybe he'll come in. He still has – I'm pretty sure he was still 500 before he got hurt, which is very impressive for how bad this team is. I mean, he's missed a lot of games. But
we've won 1 game without him. I saw
I think it's like 1-11-1.
Yeah, I saw an article that said Ullmark was our MVP this year. I mean, yeah, with Michael out and
if he plays, maybe why not? Big news: Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, the young goaltender, just got called up to the taxi squad. So he's supposed to be next coming in that one step at a time. He's on the taxi squad. If Hutton can't go, I'm assuming Hutton's gonna be out a while. It looked really bad. If Ullmark can't go, all of a sudden Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, that's just fun to say. He's off your taxi squad on the bench. He's 1 play away from getting in the game. Maybe you give the guy a start. Who knows? I think it would absolutely ruin him because the Sabres defense and forwards and everyone on the roster is atrocious, and it would really put him in a bad spot. Like, I thought that Tokarski guy played good yesterday, and he still gave up 4 goals because he faced so many shots and was left out to dry often and playing good. When you're the Sabres goaltender and the rest of the team's that bad, you can't play good, you can't play great. You have to play literally flawless. So I think it would set this poor UPL up to fail, but let's see it.
Birth by fire.
And it would be sweet if he's the one to come in and snap the streak, but I don't know. All right, locks of the night.
It's our favorite time.
We had a couple of things to talk about, but we really just talked about too much here.
Too much basketball.
Me and Ryan are 14-12. Bott's on an absolute heater at 12-10, and Chrissy is 11-9. Didn't get picks from Chrissy the other night. Got picks from Chrissy tonight. Chris loves the Washington Wizards money line against the Knicks. He loves it. And then he also likes Flyers money line. They're minus 160, so not too big of a risk there. They're playing New Jersey, so he's got double money line tonight. He likes the Wizards and Flyers both to win. Good luck, Chrissy. Justin, we'll go to you. 12-10. What do you like tonight? You're on a heater. We said.
5 on my last 6, but got a knock on it. So yeah, I got the under. Nets at Trailblazers. Kyrie's out, I think. Harden's a game time decision, and Durant's been out. Trailblazers, I think, can score. 231.5, I think, is a pretty high over for this one because I don't think the Nets are going to score that much. So I'm taking the under at that one. Also taking a hockey spread, which usually don't work out too well, but I'm still going to do it because I feel like it's a pretty decent one to take against the Arizona Coyotes, who are going without both their goalies, Darcy Kemper and Antti Raanta.
Ideal situation there.
Yeah, so Raanta, he's out an undisclosed reason. I hear Sight saying something over there.
Usually.
Okay.
No one cares, Sights.
He had something minus 1.5.
All right, so
save your money.
Okay, Avalanche minus 1.5 against Arizona is plus 110. I kind of like that. So yeah, that's my other one.
All right, real quick, I'm going to stick with that Brooklyn Portland game. I like Brooklyn plus 3.5. James Harden. That's all I need to say. He'll be out there. He told me. We talked. And Pelicans are a team who've kind of let people down all year. They play the Lakers, favored by 6. Lakers are going to cover the 6 or win the game. Just like I said, no one's just been letting teams down all year. We're in cruise control tonight. No LeBron, no AD, Schroeder, Kuzma, Marcus Gasol, if he wants, Harrell, those guys will step up. They'll figure it out because, like I said, the Pelicans have just been letting people down left and right all year. So why would they stop now? So I like Lakers +6 and Brooklyn +3.5. But I think Brooklyn will win the game, but I'll take the 3.5 just for fun.
Okay, I'm going to go 2 NBA bets as well. Aaron Gordon's checked out. The Magic are just checked out as a team. So I like Nuggets -8 tonight. And then Oppo Chrissy, Knicks -3 against the Wizards.
Yeah. Take that, Chrissy. Jeez, Sites, you just wrote a book. Bonus pick.
Bonus pick, wow.
Back end of a back-to-back and no Grubauer. Okay. Sites is 5-3, I guess. I'm not keeping track of that. He could be making this up. I don't know. You're 5-3?
I am 5-3.
It's 5-3. Okay, well.
I went 2-0 last week.
Oh, did you really? Good for you. All right, so those are our picks.
Sites' show at 9.
Yeah, Sites' show at 9. Sites in Alberto, called the Rome.
Callan Sites.
So tune into that. First, we got Carter Raymond and up now, so tune into them.
It's a pleasure.
I said, oh, don't. We'll be back Thursday, hopefully with Chris. He's been slacking. I don't know.
Yeah, Chris will be here on Thursday. He's a wild card.
Me and Ryan will be here, so there'll be someone else in that third studio. Hopefully it's Chris, but if it's Bott, I'll be excited. I'll be even more happy. So we'll be back Thursday. Thank you for listening to the MJM Grant Sports Talk Show on WSBU The Buzz. Have a good night. Stay safe. Like I said, see you Thursday.